Hi everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in a zone 4, and it is the middle of June, and I thought it is time to take you on a vegetable garden tour. I know it's a little late, but I had just direct seeded a lot of this stuff a week ago, and no joke, it probably germinated within 3 days due to the heat. I felt a little behind because normally my cucumbers are a bit bigger, but it is what it is, but they will catch up, they always do. So let's just get right into this lovely tour. It's a beautiful morning. It's supposed to be 82 today. My windows are open. It's supposed to be 90 tomorrow, but that's the last of that heat for a little bit, and then a week of pretty decent. Just showing you the robins here. They've been crazy. The babies, you name it. It's been fun to watch. In this bed, I decided to plant potatoes. I had done, oh, there's a goldfinch. I normally plant them in bags. I think they're fun to kind of see how many you get, but that got expensive. By the time you buy your soil and everything, it's just, potatoes are not that expensive. So this is a 4-foot by 4-foot raised bed, and I put, like I said, I think it was the start of May. Took a long time. We had that cold spell. May was cold, and then June, boom, heat came, and that was a shock to a lot of stuff. But as you can see, they put on a lot of growth. I have mounded them up with the compost that I make, and I think I need to do it a little bit more. Everything was watered heavily yesterday and mulched. I use my leaves for mulch. I'm hoping that they are making potatoes and not just foliage. They were looking really tough. It was a little intense. I will show you some of these. Like I said, I direct seed a lot of these seeds. I bought my tomato plants. I like to do different varieties, and I don't need a lot for myself. And this is not a huge vegetable garden, but is definitely enough for me and some family. I'm just going to show you down here. These are dahlias I had started a little bit early indoors. I hope they pull through. They are struggling a little bit. There is some new growth on some, but a lot of browning too, scorching, lots of scorching. So I have the variety sitting out here. I will forget. So in here I just have this Alaska pea. It says wilt resistant. It's just a shell pea. And I used twigs for kind of a trellis system. They are flopping a little bit, but I mean, it's kind of doing what it's supposed to do. I'm not seeing a whole lot of blooms on these. I know peas don't take well to the heat, but they're looking okay. I just have 4 rows of them. Kind of looking with you to see if there's blooms, but I'm really not seeing any. They look healthy. Lots of green growth, but I don't know how productive these are going to be. Definitely first year for shell peas for me. Normally I go with a sugar snap pea. Last year I was not happy with how they did. They do take up a lot of space, so if they don't do much, I probably will pull them out and put beans there. Just on this little trellis, these are sweet peas, not edible, but these are seeds I saved from last year. They're a shorter variety, Edward of York. They are putting out lots of blooms, I should say buds, forming them. Very happy. And just marigolds that I started from seed. They definitely struggled with that little cold snap and the heat wave. And in here, the reason why I have this is I have to get this covered because I saw, what is it, the cabbage moth, white butterfly, whatever you want to call it. I have 5 rows of kohlrabi in here. My sister loves this. I do too. They are a little close. I could thin them, but right now I'm just leaving them. They were struggling really horribly. It's the early white Vienna, along with some cabbage. And I bought these. Just a little 4-pack. 3 here look like they're doing pretty good. That one's a little behind. I will cover it with fleece after this tour. Just wanted to show you. I have peppermint planted in here. This definitely doesn't skip a beat. I just planted this year. These are from seeds I started. Yeah. Crazy, huh? I do have a morning glory vine that I planted back here to climb up this. It's doing it slowly but surely. And I've harvested twice from my rhubarb. It's seen better days. I have lemongrass planted back here. Just did this yesterday. And I have, I think it's a golden zucchini and then a sure thing zucchini. I have a lot of plants in here. I'm going to give them a couple days to see which ones are the strongest, and then I will thin down to 1 plant. I struggle with the squash vine borer, so wish me luck. They usually kill these plants every year eventually. Down here, this is just a climbing bean. Let's see if I can zoom in. Then I don't have to walk back there. It is a Blue Lake stringless variety. Considering I just planted this, well, direct sowed last week. Looks really good. I have some rabbit damage. I'm not going to stress too much about that. I have a few beans left if I feel like putting it in there. I have a lemon balm back there that I grew from seed. Looking a little stressed, but it will pull through. Oops, 1 second. Mosquito landed on my arm. There's not many. There's just a few here and there. These are garlic chives. All over. And honestly, I leave them. I may walk on them, but I leave them because I'm hoping that kind of helps with deterring pests. Definitely a strong smell yesterday, and I really like it. Back here, these are just pallets I was working with to create raised beds. They're okay. I gave up because these were the only 2 I could do. And even at that, they're not all that fantastic. So, however long they last, they last. These 2 are just Roma tomatoes. They're a little close, but I couldn't get that out without breaking it. So, I do have to come in here and stake them up. They're determinate tomatoes. They're only going to get so big and then they'll stop growing. But I do have blooms on. We'll see what happens. This heat wasn't doing it any good. Over here is a Mountain Fresh. Like I said, they might be a little close, but I'm okay with that. And at some point, I probably won't be able to walk through here. More. Oh, these are looking. They look so tough when I planted them. I didn't think they were going to mount to anything, but these are marigolds I also grew from seed. Illumia. But look, my beans. Let me find my seed packet. I think it's also a Blue Lake. I just went with what my big box stores were carrying. I didn't go with anything special. Yep, Bush Blue Lake. So I did, 6 rows? The marigolds were struggling, so very happy, but you can definitely see lots of scorching, but that new growth looks really good. Like, really good. When they first started coming up, I didn't water them, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I wanted them to pull through this heat on their own. I wanted their roots to go deep before I start watering. And, I mean, it worked. I figure if it didn't, I can just re-sow. Because I don't want to baby these. I figure the farmers have all their crops planted and they're not out watering every day, so. And I didn't label, but I know one of these is Market More cucumber and the other one is Early Russian, along with more of my marigolds. Again, I will thin them. I'm just letting them grow a little bit, have a little break from that heat, be watered, and see which ones are the strongest, and then I will thin. This is just a little herb planter that my boss made up. And it's taken a lot of watering, but this is dill. Oh, I love dill. This is another type of marigold that I grew. Vanilla cream hybrid. This is a really pretty one. I did that with the dill and that's all I smell. Oh, love it. This reminds me of pickling cucumbers. One of these is a Cherokee Purple, and another one is Dr. White Cheese. There are blooms, but we'll see if they amount to anything here. I just kind of keep hitting them, smacking the cage. These are all indeterminate variety tomatoes, which means they will get as tall as they can before like disease takes them or a freeze. I moved this raised bed over here. It used to be over my cottage garden, but I did this because these just get super tall, and picking tomatoes when they're in a bed this tall, oh, that was a little tricky. And not only that, this gets the most sun. And the other thing about the tomatoes is when I had them in the beds here, they would shade everything else. So over here, I figured we should be good. Should be. And just in between these, I have jalapenos. That's the only pepper I'm growing this year. And there are flowers on them too, but I have been kind of trimming up the bottom leaves to help with disease issues, but we haven't had any rain, so not a whole lot of splashback. Let's see. I'm going to face you down here. The other thing about tomatoes is I know everybody takes the suckers off. I leave a few. I really do. And just, it may not produce the biggest tomatoes, but I'm kind of okay with that. This year my tomatoes look really good. There definitely was no herbicide damage. I had some last year. Not on my part. On this arch here, if you can see, it's not a favorite arch. I would not get this again. I don't like the netting. Actually, I hate the netting along with that arch back there. And it was expensive. But I have it and I'm using it. I have, what's that? Improved Blue Hubbard squash. Not many seeds came in this packet, but it looks really good. And I'm doing more in-ground gardening this year. I had like your grow bags, and after last year with the constant watering I had to do, I decided to go in-ground, which is probably a good choice on my part. They look really good. I'm very, very happy. And over here is a buttercup squash. All of these will also be thinned to probably 4. So that is my little garden. I am just sticking with what I like to eat and grow that. Sometimes I like to experiment with certain things. And this year, definitely I'm just, I probably will have a lot of beans at one point, but that's okay. Oh, I love green beans. Oh, I hope I covered everything in this little vegetable garden tour. Again, it's not huge, but it's the perfect size for me and my sister and our family members. I had to look over there. I thought I heard a noise. I can actually be in the sun and not melt. All right, hope you enjoyed this tour, and bye for now.